I'm gonna switch on a lamp here so I get a little more light on my face.
Hey, it's Blastzone Mike. It's Wednesday, and I have got Jason Liles, and he plays in the great new movie on Netflix that I thought was brilliant. I don't care what anybody else says.
Wow.
I don't care what anybody else says. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Well, thank you.
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was. I cannot. It's the start of what Netflix is fixing to take over the industry when it comes to movies, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, my opinion. But Jason Liles, meet everybody else if they haven't met you yet, and he plays. How do you say the name of it? Ryuk.
Ryuk.
Right.
Ryuk.
Ryuk. Now he is the person that's inside the actual suit that walks around and everything. But then, tell him who plays the voice.
Willem Dafoe, and we combined. He plays the face and the voice.
And the voice. So we'll be talking about all about that. We'll talk about the Death Note, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to get to know him first, okay? Because we're not just going to go into, hey man, you were in the Death Note and it's all this cool shit and all that. So we gotta get to know the guy first, you know. So anyway, Jason. So let's kind of go back a little bit. Seemed like a pretty young guy, so anyway. But when you were kind of growing up, I kind of like to ask people this when I talk to them. When you were growing up, did you what were you into when you were growing up? Movie wise, music wise, entertainment wise. I mean, what were you into when you were growing up?
A lot of nerdy things. Big time in the movies. I'm 30, so I very much grew up in the time with Disney VHS going crazy and just popping in and out VHS tapes and watching movies all the time. Going to the movie theater every weekend with my dad, my brother, and sometimes my mom and sister. Three boys. Thus, we would go out and see movies all the time. And big video gamer, big Nintendo and Game Boy when I was a kid. Musically, my brother and I were huge nerds because I still make fun of him for this. In his second grade yearbook, at the beginning, favorite food, favorite class, favorite song. His favorite song was Dennis Nedrick Still's The Embryos, which is a track from the Jurassic Park original score. He listened to stuff like that. We're huge nerds still. So I was into movies, video games. I like to do athletic stuff as well. I love to get outside, which I guess helped me as I got closer to playing these types of roles, which takes a lot of physicality. That nerdy stuff. These video games.
Well, at least you're not like what's his name on American Pie, who says that when he gets out of high school that he wants to be like Ricky Martin or whatever, and you know what happened to Ricky Martin. So I mean.
Well, I appreciated Ricky Martin. I guess I didn't. He was never really one of my big inspirations.
Yeah, I see you got the Star Wars poster behind you, so that's cool in my book.
Dude, big Star Wars, yeah.
As long as you're a Star Wars fan, that doesn't. It all after that, it's all great,
Big one. I'd love to be something in Star Wars. I tried Episode 7. I tried Episode 8. I tried to get into the standalone Han Solo film. But unfortunately, a lot of that stuff goes to people locally in the UK. But I'm still trying for Episode 9. I want to get into some huge Star Wars there. That's the first movie poster I ever put up on the wall. So I'm a huge Star Wars nerd.
Now wait a minute. It's not called Han Solo. That's called Red Solo Cup. The working title for it is Red Solo Cup.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
Red Solo Cup. Okay.
Because each one of them has a different name. So the working title for that is called Red Solo Cup.
Okay.
So nobody really knows there's a Han Solo movie coming out with Ron Howard directing it. Oh, wait a minute. Was I supposed to be saying that or not?
Yeah, that made some big news.
Yeah, so.
And then today, Episode 9 lost its director, Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah. I tell you what, those Star Wars movies, man, they seem to have a lot of problems with directors.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know what's going on there. That's behind the scenes stuff that I guess we're not privy to. We really know what's going on.
I think they should just say, Ron Howard, just direct everything else we do. You know?
Well, it'd probably be a good deal for him.
You know?
We'll see. I trust Disney. You know, I think that they have the right things in mind. Hopefully, we'll see.
Well, you know, let's face it, okay? I'm 45, you're 30, so we're 15 years apart. But the one thing is, we're all kindred in spirits because we love Star Wars. You know, it's kind of like my son and me are going to go see Guns N' Roses in November. At his age, you know, well, he's 18 now, but he started listening to Guns N' Roses at 15. Well, I did too at 15, you know, and it bonds everybody together. These type of things bond everybody together, you know what I mean? And
absolutely, yeah.
And, you know, when we found out, I'll go back a little farther. When we found out they're going to do the prequels, we're all excited. We're all, oh my God, I got to stand in line. I got to be the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get Jar Jar Binks. And then we're all like, oh God, why did we stand in line all this time for this crap? You know? But then Disney says, oh, we're going to buy it. And we're like, oh God, Disney's going to buy it. What is that going to do? And then we think, oh God, that means Han Solo's going to come back. Because they got the money to bring him back. And then they kill him. And then they kill him. And then we're like, oh God, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like an up and down battle with them. You know, it's like, oh my God. You know, but, you know, I really liked Rogue One. I really liked it.
Thank you.
I did like episode 7. Rogue One.
I did too.
If you knew what was going to happen, you're not sad at the end. If you listened to the Star Wars movies, you knew exactly what was going to happen during Rogue One. And
spoiler alert again,
Yeah, you knew exactly what's going to happen. And the thing about it is, with Rogue One, we got to see Darth Vader actually beat Darth Vader. You know?
Yeah, that was cool. That was easily the best part of the movie.
You know, and, you know, I'm excited about the next one, even though Princess Leia, as we know, passed away last year. And all that. It gives me goosebumps to think about it coming out. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, we just had Force Friday. I don't know if you were a part of that or not, and didn't get anything.
I didn't get to do much for it now.
I ended up going to Walmart today, and I got my BB-8, so I'm pretty happy.
Very nice.
Pretty happy. You know, BB-8's pretty cool. You know, so. But anyway, the point I'm making is, I hope that movies like I read your Facebook. You know, I've been reading it for a couple of days. And everybody's had great response to you being this character, you know?
Yeah.
And it's great that we live in a time now that people know who the characters are. You know, except for Star Wars, okay? Let's take Star Wars out of the equation. You know, a lot of the different characters along the years, the last so many years, a lot of people didn't know who they were. You know what I mean? They were just people, you know. And then as the conventions came, people started knowing who each character was. And they're like, oh, well, I got to go meet that guy. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. And it become like this like frenzy of people wanting to know who's behind the mask. Like we talked about before, me and you on Facebook. You know, the people behind the mask, you know, like David Prowse and, you know, Warwick Davis and, you know, the list goes on and on. You know, of great people that
Doug Jones, Brian Steele, Javier Bottet. There's so many.
Yeah, you know, and
most people are like, who? Who are those names?
You know, but
and now there are hundreds of characters.
There's hundreds of characters. I mean, just like the new Star Wars, like you said, you tried to get involved in the new Star Wars that came out 7. Each person in that cantina scene, each alien in that cantina scene, and Maz Cantina are actual people.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not CGI. They're actual people that are those characters. You know, so it's pretty neat to live in. You know, I lived through the time without computer. I lived through this time with computer, and I really love computers because you can find anybody you want.
It's amazing.
A perfect example, I found you.
Yeah. Easy, so as easy as typing Jason Liles. It's really incredible. Like, that's how I've reached out to a lot of people I've looked up to as well. Just in Google search, you can find their contact info, their social media. It's really amazing. Such an incredible tool for research, and it's such a resource to have, the internet. It's amazing.
So how did you initially get into this whole acting thing? And how did you evolve into being, characters in movies?
I got into this whole acting thing. I always wanted to do it. Like, when I was a kid, I would watch movies, and I just loved them. I they were actually magic. Sometimes I thought they were real. Like, I didn't, especially when I was a kid, I didn't understand how a movie was made. I just thought, like, this happened. Someone somehow was getting all these camera angles. I didn't think about it. I always wanted to do it, but as a kid, I was like, well, that's not me in the middle of Tennessee. That's like that's other people that already do it or something. I can't do it. And I got into college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I tried programming because I was a video game nerd, and then I quickly found out how much I did not like computer programming. I just didn't know what to do, and acting was always there, but I didn't know what I could do it, and like, how would I move to New York or LA? And I took a class this year, took a class that semester, and then Heath Ledger passed. I was a big fan of his. I enjoyed his movies, but I wasn't a guy. But later that year, of course, The Dark Knight came out. And I was a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I think all the films up to that, Minto, Insomnia, that begins, of course. I think it's between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I saw the movie 6 times, a week and a half it was out. I was blown away. And I was working at Blockbuster, rented every Heath Ledger movie, and I'd never seen Brokeback Mountain, I'd never seen this, that, and I was just blown away. He's such a chameleon, and what he feel in all these roles, and how I could connect with him. Gosh, yeah, I think I could do that. I had actually gotten on academic probation from the college that I'd been to before that came out, because I don't want to do it. I didn't care. I didn't care about like G-Ed courses, and I played video games to do. And so I went to a different college that fall after the Dark Knight, and the fall of '08, and I had looked at some schools in New York, just a journey, cool to move there, and I talked to the director of theater at the school, and just make your major theater, add these classes while you still can, go out and listen to that night, okay? And I started to really fall in love with it. The play wasn't a very good experience. Student-directed play, like, students would be like asleep, make a call and be like, hey, we're in rehearsal, where are you? Or be asleep during rehearsal. And over the Christmas break, I decided I don't want to do it, actually. I don't think I want to do it. And the theater said, don't. No, wait until I had been cast for that, and we were about to start rehearsal. So it's like, wait till you come back. Wait till we go on that New York trip. I signed up for the short course, 1 week, like, day in class, and 1 week in New York, 6 days. And I was totally sold when I saw these plays. I saw Daniel Radcliffe and Equus in the Heights, which won best musical. I saw Billy Elliot. I saw Blue Bank Group. I saw a couple others. And I was like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing if I could move to New York. And started looking toward school. Started talking to my dad. He saw I had a thing for this, and I knew I was going to financially help in New York. I didn't have any money. And so it was basically all up to him. And we visited one school in a big state school where I was going to finish my bachelor's degree. And we met with the director of theater after about half an hour. We talked about how the following week we were going to go to 09. How we're going to go look at New York after Jason gets his bachelor's to get like a master's. And he said, oh, Jason's too tall for film. And I was kind of like, what? What do you mean? Okay.
Too tall for film.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you can't do drink? And on the way out, I remember it. He was like, great, yeah, blah, 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 this fall. And like on the back, he's like, all right, remember, no film. And I was just like, whoa, dude, I'm like, oh. And then we went to New York, and my dad had never been to New York. The gritty 80s New York, like you'll murder in every street corner. And he saw it, and he saw it was actually way nicer than he thought. And we looked at several different acting schools, and they started competing for financial aid to get in their schools. And it kind of clicked with him. Maybe you need to be here. Maybe you have a thing. And he asked the director of admissions, why do you want Jason so badly? And he said, because he's 6'9", I don't have anyone like him, and there are roles that are that tall, and when he gets that, I want to put it on the billboard and say he was. Like, huh? So I'm not too tall for some stuff. Okay. And so my dad was like, yeah, you're going to move to New York, and I'll help you. You will finish your bachelor's degree. You'll transfer these credits. Okay. couple years later, he didn't think I needed to. Shocked to me because I just started getting work. I got out of the conservatory, which is New York Film Academy. I worked on Men in Black 3, with 7-time Oscar winner Rick Baker, several aliens. Really out. Oh, I'm not tall.
So wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't mean to interrupt you, but let's kind of go by this kind of slow here. By the way, Jason Liles, he plays Ryuk, right? Ryuk. Yeah. As you can see behind him from the Death Note that's on Netflix right now, which this has really been. This is really amazing. He's doing this for me, so I'm really excited about this shoe off. So.
That's my butt in those leather pants.
Yeah, that's him back there. Yeah, that's him. So you're on Men in Black 3.
Yeah, it was the first thing I did. Yeah.
And what aliens did you play in it?
3 different background aliens. Extra aliens. It was the most glorified background I'd ever done. Working with Rick Baker, and it started out just as one day, and I played a character named Feelers. And he's in the first scene in headquarters when they're having this eulogy scene that Thompson is giving, and he's the really, really tall, blue-headed one with these weird feelers coming out the face in the back. Can't miss him.
Okay, cool. And
I'm totally blind. I can't hear anything. Those were so tough days. But I had a blast, and that was all that it was going to be one day. And then I got called back the next week, like all week. And when I saw Rick Baker on set, he was like, "Hey, good to see you, Jay." Yeah, they called me back. He said, "No, I personally had them bring you back." I was like, "Oh." And then several more weeks, I played another one called Colossus, who's this like robot-based big cape guy. You'll see him at the 1969 headquarters in the background a little bit. Played him at Coney Island as well in 1969. But one day turned into weeks throughout the whole production, working with like Rick Baker, who is the led 7 Oscars. Not that an Oscar means everything, but he's got 7.
So did you get to play with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones?
Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, Josh Brolin, Emma Thompson, everybody. Yeah.
What did you think about that? I mean, because Tommy Lee Jones and Josh Brolin are actually around the same age, but he plays a younger version of Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I don't know what age difference. That's something like 20 years apart, something like that. Not how they have it in that from like,
yeah.
He's not that much older than Josh Brolin.
Do you have a story from the set from like Will Smith or anybody? Do you have anything like that?
A lot, actually. I mean, it was funny because Josh Brolin was so good. The first day I was on set with Lee Jones last. And then later, like, we heard, like, I hear Tommy Lee Jones. He's, oh my gosh, it's Josh. Wow, he had it really good. And there was something that Will Smith that was really, I think he does this on sets when he works around the holidays. In New York, he had flown out some caterers of this from LA, set up this huge ballroom thing with curtains and tables and turkey and dressing, this and that, everything just for a half-hour lunch for the entire cast and crew. And he spent most of the lunch shaking people's hands while they said thank you. And he was wearing all gray sweat, the gray sweat, sideways hat, looked like a set of Fresh Prince. And he was just such a guy. He was such a nice guy to everybody. He'd come on set and just, hey, everybody. He never played the, like, well, I'm above you guys at all, which I've not seen very much of the set, honestly. Most people are pretty genuine.
We have a guest on here. Her name is Allie Atkins, and she says she's your girlfriend.
She is. That's true.
And
she said, what did she say?
She said, "Hi, I'm Jason's girlfriend, Allie. Yay, Jason."
That's true. That's true.
I just figured I'd let you know. I figure you think that's funny.
Thanks for saying hi, Allie.
Yeah, so anyway. So you went on from Men in Black to what then?
After that, I did a bunch. I did. There are a couple websites that actors are always suggested to be on. Actors Access, Backstage, and most of them on there are non-union, theater, short film, film. Anything that I remotely fit age, male, if they were looking for in my place, if it was just, it doesn't matter. Anything I submitted to, I totally get on set of anything. I care. I'd rather be doing anything than just staying at home nothing. Even paid nothing. I just want to get experience. I just want to be on a set. So I did a lot of short films, a lot of student films, a lot of NYU films, which are the best short films I ever worked on. I mean, those were ones that actually took me to festivals across the country while I was there, which is amazing. Student films going up against other like bigger budget professional short films. NYU really pushed it. But I did those and started to find this niche of creatures in makeup and suits. And anytime I went into one of those, and they're like, "You've been like 3, you got the part." Like, basically. And they're like, "You're good enough for that, good enough for us." And so that got me a lot of experience in applying makeup and creature suits. And there's one thing I did that was a great experience. It's called Horseman's Hollow. It's in Sleepy Hollow, New York, on historic Hudson Valley on the Phillipsburg Manor, which is a 17th century historic farmland site. It's a living museum during the day, and it's a haunt, and it's where you walk with lights and there's sets put up and people in makeup, pictures to scare you. And I did that every October for 4 years. That was a blast because it's just 4 to 6 hours a night without a single break. Just literally scaring the crap out of people. Like, actually, literally, I'm not even kidding. They'll yell at you, you're stop, I'm being a beast, oh my gosh. They're terrified. You can't touch them. It's very satisfying to, like, do something and scare somebody and not touch them, and they fall and pull their girlfriend down with them, or run, break a fence to get out of your section. They're so scared. That was a great exercise, studying different characters, living in the hours and hours, and finding different tactics to get somebody, and just dealing with the heavy makeup aesthetics that and acting through that. That's a real challenge. So I did that. I finished Men in Black in 2011. I did that all 2011. 2012, I got, actually to this day, the only place my face is professionally out there. It is an Allstate basketball commercial called Final Four Mayhem. And it's with the Mayhem guy, Pete Winters, who's mayhem like me. And at the very beginning, the first face you see, boxing out a guy in motion, that's it, just for a second. But that went all over every 2 years during madness, which was crazy. And that got me working with a couple different agents in New York, and opened a few doors, got me in the Screen Actors Guild. And I just kept doing more films. I felt distracted. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how to take the step. How to go from, my pay was a bill and a credit to actually working in professional films. And I met him, Patrick Green, who to this day is my private mentoring coach. And he runs a website, Hollywood, and it's all about, he talks about the herd who are all over here getting nowhere. What if I go in the back? What if I can hack my way into Hollywood? If I break these rules? And his claim to fame is that he started in his mid to late 30s, I think, and he worked in casting offices, so he really saw how it worked. And then in one calendar, he booked 13 primetime TV feature film roles, like Battlestar Galactica, ER, this dude from a Cannes festival director, one word and all that. And he preaches on his website. He teaches how he did it. Here are the tools. Go do it. Or do it. And he showed me, this was in 2014. Actually, to back up, 2012, I did a short film with Doug Jones. Dave Sapien and Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, he's in upcoming Shape of Water, which is getting amazing reviews.
Don't forget he was in Falling Skies.
Oh yeah, Falling Skies, Hope 150 things, it's insane. He's everything. We did a film together, an NYU film. Surprisingly, an NYU film for him, and they needed him to play a human. YouTube actually, it's called Helios, Helios.
Oh wow!
It's on both of our IMDb. It's about 15 minutes long. He played a human and I played the taller creature officer who has a fight with him and everything. Starting to do creatures, obviously out the where it's like big sky on the planet that does this. And so I was basing characters and working on characters he had created, and now to death with him and spent a week on set with him. Really, the only two characters in the whole film? Or just, didn't care it was a good thing. Literally throughout that week, I cried 3 times, tears of just like, what's going on? This is amazing. He's just such a loving person. He's a great friend to this day. We can get to it in a minute. Give really advice before I went to go film Death Note that I'm really glad he gave me. But I did that. So he kind of took me under his wing, so I could go to him for advice now and then. And in 2014, I met Patrick Green from Hack Hollywood. He told me, dude, you have got to put this creature card. You've got to put everything into this. Like, forget everything else. Put all your chips in this. Go out, call the Star Wars casting director, see if you can get into comic meet some people. And I called Doug and bounced those ideas off of him. He's like, no, comic doesn't need anyone. But next weekend, if you fly out to LA, there's a thing called Monster Palooza. Mm-hmm. And it is this big convention. It's like 50-50 fans industry, and they just have tables. Oscar will have tables, and you can say, hey, how you doing? And introduce yourself. It's like, come, I'll be there. I can present you for free. And so I went, and I called my people from Netflex 3, and they introduced me. One of my friends, Norman McGregor, who's worked with Rick Baker countless times, worked on the Hellboy movies. He's one of the main sculptors for everything from The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow.
He is incredible. He's worked on everything. I think he's working on the new Hellboy, maybe. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I was just seeing that the new Hellboy's coming out. They're redoing it or something. Yeah.
Trying to see what they do with that. But I saw him. I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen like 5 years, 3 or 4 or 5 years. He's like, hey, if you have, I'll introduce you to everyone. Great. And everyone started, hey, there's a party at his house. Chris Nelson, who won an Oscar last year for Suicide, this year for Suicide Squad for the croc makeup. They're like, yeah, it's his wife's birthday, you gotta come. And so the person, hey, there's a party, come. And so I go to this party, I'm surrounded by him. Those are the main sculpting in the shop, those are the main guys on set. That guy sculpted the Fight Club bar of soap. That's his first thing. That dude, oh my gosh. And all of them are like, dude, where do you live? Out here, there's nobody like you. Book work like crazy. All the shops are out here. And a lot of production just says, we're going to let you, the shop, cast the guy who's going to. And when I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get out here. I got to go for these guys. That's my way in. And so I started saving, and I moved out in 2015. And
so you're in California now?
In California, I'm in Hollywood, and Encino, very popularly on the site of Encino Man with registration. That's the first
Encino Man, yeah.
Encino.
Did you look for your own caveman when you moved out there?
Huh?
Did you look for your own caveman and try to meet Pauly Shore?
Right. We don't really have happy art here, but they're still there. But I got out here and I just started calling shops and relationships I already had. I was developing and people I hadn't met. I'd call, be like, I worked with Rick Baker, Doug Jones, I'm I've done this, and that. Worked in this, this many hours of makeup application, this weight of creature suits. I'd love coming to meet you. And they're all like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, clearly, of course. But it was FX, who does every James Cameron film, every Marvel film, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, or A&D, who does all the Quentin Tarantino films, API, who does all the Alien films, Motion, who did Hellboy, and all these jobs. Because a lot just, Jason, are you available?
So what did you end up moving on to? What movies before Death Note did you end up being in?
Well, there was a which was still not a very low budget film. I don't know, called Slumber. It has Emily Bette Richards, last name, and from Arrow and a couple other people. I played a feature for 1 day. It's a 7-hour application and 2 hours to take off. And I had my mouth covered. I couldn't talk or eat or drink anything for a couple hours. That was interesting. interesting communicating when you can't talk, your finger extension, you can't write anything. But Death Note was the first. I got that because I knew the people in the shop, and they emailed me one day like, "What's your availability for months on a Saturday?" And I was like, "Working out that steakhouse, but I'm free. I'll quit. What's up?" And and they're like, "We can't do Monday. There's something we might need you for."
So you had enough of the blooming onions?
Yes, I had enough of the blue.
So wait a minute. Wait just a second. Now you get your job as right. Say it again.
Ryuk.
Ryuk. Again,
Yes.
Jason Liles. He's Ryuk in the new Death Note movie that's on Netflix. Right behind him, yeah, he's that creature. The Angel of Death,
The Shinigami, the Death Guy.
yeah, he's all kinds of different things. But anyway, so you get the job to be him, okay? And they bring you in obviously to fit you for the suit and all that. Then is that when they tell you who's going to be the voice of the guy?
No, I got brought in and they looked at me at the shop, and then my agent helped set up an audition and call back, and I got it, which I just about cried because I was like, I get to quit Outback and go to Canada for 3 months? Are you kidding me? and be in this movie. I started watching the anime and I finished it, and it was like watching Star Wars for the first time and being like, "You want to make a Star Wars movie?" Like, I love the anime, and I get to be Ryuk. Are you kidding me? And so I went to, I got up to Canada, I quit Outback, and I couldn't tell them why. I couldn't tell anybody what I was doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, what are you doing?" I was like, "It's a movie." They're like, "Well, what you say?" I was like, "I can't. Where are you going?" I can't tell you. Like, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to be like, "Oh, you said Canada, you're fired." And so I can't tell you how much I did not care, honestly, about customers' problems those last couple of days when I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to Canada next week," and they're like, "Where's our?" I was like, "Dude, they're making
you damn blooming onion. Leave me alone."
It's like, they're making it. It'll take a minute. It's science.
Where's my cheese and French fries on them, man? What the hell?
But I got up there, and I met the director, Adam Wingard, and we talked about Ryuk, and we talked about the similarities and the differences between the anime and what we were going to do, what he wanted me to go from. He wanted me to look at these characters, these people, and try and find a combination and think where to put in elements of them. And my question to him was, who's the voice? Who's going to be the voice? Because I had no idea. And he said, right now our top choice is Willem Dafoe. Don't know if he's gotten back yet. I know they've reached out to him, so we'll just see. I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. And which he ended up being perfect.
Yeah.
But he also told me his first choice was David Bowie.
Oh, nice.
Then passed away.
Yeah, passed away.
Because he was looking kind of like, how you Gareth the Goblin King in Labyrinth or something like that. And then he passed away, and then he was looking at Prince.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, I'm excited to stop looking at position. The Death Note. But then he said, Willem Dafoe. So that was good to we were going on camera. Okay. And then I found out we were filming. We got, and then the leak got online. People were nuts. And
did you get to meet William?
I met Will at the
premiere,
like 2-3 weeks ago, like that.
Did anybody get a picture of both of you together?
Yes, there's a great picture. I think I put it on Instagram of Adam Wingard 6'5", I'm 6'9", and Dafoe's like 5'10". Three of us were getting a picture together, and Willem Dafoe was like trying to help out himself, and so Adam and I just picked up legs and just held him up, and there's us holding up Willem Dafoe, and he's just laughing like a child.
Now, how does it work now? Because you're inside the suit, you do all the walking, you do all the movements and mannerism. You had to get tired of apples, right? Did you get tired of seeing an apple?
No, not really. I never took a bite out of one.
Yeah, but you're always around apples in the thing, weren't you?
There were a lot of apples. Like the scene in the dining room where they're eating them and tossing over his shoulder and stuff, just laughing at Light, threatening him. All those were be like cut with the thing that they had. And I was just, over that, I and throw it. I wasn't actually taking a fight. But it's an interesting thing. They talked a little bit about how we did for you, but haven't like put too much of like a behind the scenes thing out there or anything. I don't know if they will. But how we did it, Doug Jones, when I called him before and told him I got the book club first movie, he was psyched, and I asked if you have any advice. And if you watch any videos of him, he's just, oh, child, no, I don't know anything. And okay, well, it was one piece of advice I would say. Your face and your voice are not going to be in the movie, but you have to act every day on set as if they would be. Because just how I'm talking to you now, my voice and everything's informing my physicality. Mm-hmm. I can't just think about my physicality. I have to create the characterability, physically, psychologically, and physically, and they all move together in one full character. Mm-hmm. And then they're just going to put the voice and face at the end. Because that's all now Wolf playing light is going to have to work off on set. That's all the crew's going to have to work off, setting up the frame and lighting, director and everything. It's going to set the cadence and the rhythm between you and Nat Forth, and with your physicality and how you play Ryuk, that will then base his performance off of. Because if I'm moving like this, Willem is talking like this and stuff, it doesn't look good. He has to match what I do. So I have to really fully create Ryuk, as if there is no Willem Dafoe in both. And so every day on set, I acted as if I was Ryuk, and that's how we treated it on set. There was never mentioning of like, do this so Willem can do that. We laid the foundation on set, and then with editing, they could allow a lot of freedom.
Who did the outfit and the makeup for you? Who was the one that did all that?
The costumes was Emma Pop, who is just the most fantastic British woman. He just did an amazing job with this. It was like several weeks, almost a month things every other day. It felt like of just hours and just getting tired. They're like, great, let's take it in. Here. I'm like, take it what are you talking about? And like literally, like was the farthest up, raised my arms. And one scene, they're like, what if you put his hand up there and kind of relax? I was like, yeah, what if you did his hand up there? That'd be really cool. But I couldn't do it because I wasn't patient. But she did that, and the makeup was Toby and Lindala from Vancouver, in Canada. They did an incredible job, and they had to rush it too because they didn't get started until I got to Canada, and then they took it, and then they started thinking molding and had to have it ready. They did an amazing job. There's with these like finger extensions in the fingers, so when I did that motion, the whole finger.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so they did that. Visual effects supervisor was Colin Strauss. Same visual effects supervisor that on Rampage as well. So you'll see us working together again.
Yeah, let's not talk about that yet. Now, hold on.
We can't talk about that.
No, not yet. We got to go in order, man, because then you'll confuse me and then I'll forget. We'll talk about that in a minute.
That's how we created Ryuk. We
was there
on set?
But you got to play with Light quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
and Light's girlfriend, and all that, and
Margaret Qualley, yeah.
Now I know they tape stuff out of sequence, okay? Mm-hmm. Everything's out of sequence, but do you remember that day when the first frame we see, okay, is when he gets the book, he goes up into the schoolroom, and you appear. And you're talking to him, you're telling him to write the name down.
Stands up and whips around.
Yeah, he's like, write in the book, just write in the book. He's like, I'm getting cold chills just thinking about it, okay? Because it's such a great scene, It's such a great scene, and it's like, you really, you mentioned, something you mentioned earlier. You mentioned that you were really a big fan of, crap, I forgot his name, it just eluded me. The Joker.
Heath Ledger, yeah.
And as everybody knows, Heath Ledger really, when he did the Joker, it really got to him because the Joker is such an evil character, and he talks about it before he passed away that he really got into it, and afterwards people talked about how he really got into that. Now, you seem like a pretty happy guy. Did you
Well,
really?
I have to say, there is a documentary that came out, and his sister talked about that subject, and she said he had never been happier in his life. That it was rumors that the Joker got to him psychologically, and that she said that had nothing to do with his.
Well, that's not the point I was getting at. That's not the point I was getting at. The point I was getting at is playing such a character like him, which is a scary character, but he's kind of funny too. You know, he's got some sarcastic shit he says. Did you have to get in a certain kind of mindset to play that character, or was it just a job?
I did have to get into a certain mindset to get into Ryuk. I don't ever want to mimic or act like a character. The goal is always to just be the character, to really think and act, feel like the character without thinking about it. But I felt like I understood him from the get-go. I guess that's why the audition and callback went so well. I felt like I understood. From his perspective, he's not bad. He's a deaf guy. Job. And technically, he's not really doing anything. He's giving the note to Light, who's writing all the names. Yeah. He's just sitting there watching, having fun watching. And he's not rooting for or against Light. He's not on either side of the game. He likes the game. He wants to watch what happens. Yeah. Humans are interesting to him. And so I never saw people ask me, is it scary? And I say to me, no, not at all, because I don't think Ryuk's a scary character. If anything, Light is the scary character who's killing all these people. I like that. I like that answer, man. That's a great answer. That's really a great answer.
He's
doing exactly what's right. He's having a blast doing it. And so
Light's the bad guy. Really, Light's the bad guy, not Ray. I can't even say his name.
Light's pulling the trigger.
Yeah. He's just the one that's giving him the tools to do it. It's kind of like a drug dealer. Do you go after the drug dealer or do you go after the junkie? The drug dealer just sits and watches the junkie. You know what I mean? I know I know it's a bad example, but still the point is.
I know what you mean.
The point is, it's like, he gives him the tools to do what he wants, just like, the demon or you give him the tools that he wants. It's just whatever you do with it, it's on your own,
Yeah.
And I love the way you put that. He's just having a good time watching humans.
It's just for him. It's flipping through channels. He doesn't care about humans. He just wants to see something interesting, and he's almost like a cat. He just wants to see what's the most interesting thing in the room to watch that I can fix on, and I think that's where his laughter comes from, because he just finds stuff entertaining.
I think the best two scenes is that first scene I told you, and the last scene with the
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel. I think those are the two best scenes in the whole movie. And
thank you.
And you just sit there and you're just like, oh my God, why can't this just be a TV series? Why can't we just watch this every why can't Netflix just make it into a TV series where we see it like 12 episodes? And I'm like, I think to myself, damn, I'll be pissed because then I have to wait for a second season. You know what I mean?
It might not. This might not be out of their own possibility. I mean, they might, after the movie, go into a series. Who knows?
I mean, it's a
lot of people have been asking for that.
It's a great concept, And like I said, I read some of your stuff, some of the stuff people said, and I haven't seen very many bad comments about your performance. I mean, it's been really, really, really great. I mean,
it's been pretty crazy, honestly, to be on this side of it. I almost don't even believe people in such a positive response for Ryuk. Like, even if people hate the movie, like the movie, love the movie, it seems to be pretty universal. 9 out of 10 reviews or comments really are like, Ryuk's great. And adding a lot of that to costume, to the makeup, to the visual effects, to Willem, to the director ad, to the writers. I'm just one very small cog in a massive machine creating that character. But it's been really cool to see people really respond to Ryuk. He's already such a beloved character from the anime and the manga, and he's different but pretty similar to how people do him. He's a little more pushy. He's got a little more of an agenda in the movie than he's more of just kind of just watching. And
did you get to keep? They let you keep the suit?
No, definitely not. I actually asked. I tried to get the booth, which I don't think you ever. No, you do see his booth when he's at the dining room table. I tried to get his boots for the red carpet for the premiere because they're just amazing boots. But they're like, the boots aren't a toy. It's a to wear.
They didn't let you have any props from it at all.
They actually they gave me here. Give me this. The camera department gave me this, which was awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's got Ryuk right there in the middle with his wings of Death Note, and I stole one of Ryuk's hairs that fell out. But anything of actual size, no, they had that. But actually, if you look on Death Note movie Instagram page, they've been putting out every day something of Ryuk. Whether he's sightseeing in China or in Seattle, or yesterday they put him dancing with the Apple pen. Do you ever saw that ridiculous? No. They put that's me. So they actually in July they brought me in for a very busy long day doing all this different stuff for marketing for promotional purposes. So if you look on Instagram, all that stuff and all the stuff you see it for you. So I got to don it again, which was fun. And I have not lost or gained a single pound. I still fit that skin tight thing. But they have that in storage at Netflix in case there is a sequel, or like they put it on my full body life at Comic-Con at the screening. It's holding an apple and. So they have that in safety. That is an expensive costume and prosthetic. So I don't even afford to buy that if I would.
Did you get your 8x10s yet for comic conventions yet?
Yeah, I have to do that though. I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna be meeting with a public appearance manager of a friend soon. And we're going to connect about that because I know that is going to be a thing to do. I imagine will also possibly happen with George and Rampage. That comes out. We'll just see what the response is that we don't know.
Yes, he's talking about Rampage. He's going to be in Rampage. He's going to play George, a silverback ape, who is friends with The Rock. But we're not going to talk about it because
can't talk too much. We only talk about it for like a minute. It's only about a minute or so worth talking about it, and I can take that.
But he's going to be George, the silverback ape that's friends with The Rock, and the movie Rampage comes out in April. And he's going to come back on my show and talk about it then because he's promised me I can't talk about it now, so he's got to come back. He's got to come back.
I promise you we'll talk about it.
He's got to come back. So, is there anything else you're doing? So, you done Rampage? Is there anything else?
There were a couple commercials earlier this year that were pretty popular. It's a video game called Halo Wars 2. And they were a couple live commercials that it's a serious game about war. And so we made these two commercials with Legacy Effects, who does all the Marvel and things and stuff. A 160-pound suit I had to wear for that and perform it as Atriox, who is the leader of the Covenant in Halo Wars 2. And it's these funny war wit commercials where I'm dealing back toward like car dealership for a crappy car for a crappy price with a human guy, or we're on an airplane fighting over the armrest and we have all these things. So if you watch those, that was me. Right now, there's nothing concrete in the pipeline. There are a couple possibilities, and we'll just have to see what pans out and which ones I want to be a part of the most. So we'll see what's coming. Nothing concrete right now. The next thing you'll see me in will be in April.
And y'all need to get him on The Walking Dead. Come on, man. He'd be great for The Walking Dead.
You actually, like I said, many friends have tried to get me on there several times. But that, I think last season there was an episode where there was like giant walker that killed somebody and so put me off. And they pushed me a couple times, but that's one of the things where money. and it's much less expensive to find someone locally in Atlanta and to fly me across LA, put me up in a hotel or an apartment for a few days or a week or something. And so we haven't got it yet. I'd love to be a walker.
Well, you could be in Fear. Isn't it taped over on your side of the country?
No, Fear. I think Fear is actually taped in Texas. It's set in LA, but
I thought it was taped over there.
I'm not sure.
Or you could go to Portland. You could be in Z Nation.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, there you go.
There are a couple things. Fans have been pretty cool. Send me messages, been like, "You should be in this. That sounds awesome. I'd love to be." And when certain things come around, the good thing about being 99% of the time too tall. 1% of the time, there are 5 guys they can look at. So when they want 7 feet tall who has experience, so there are a few projects in the next 12 months that I have had my eye on for a while, and that I definitely going to be seeing what I can do to get in them. But that's just such a process. It's so much out of my hands.
Yeah, it takes us at one time to be in a horror movie and be one of those legendary characters, man. You got it made, because if the movie, unless you're the Freddy Krueger in the last movie, and that just didn't work out too good. But I mean, if you were like the new Michael Myers or the new Jason, or you're the new whatever it was. I mean, people. I do put it out there. I haven't talked to David Gordon Green yet, but I do want to be Michael Myers in the next Halloween movie. It recently came out that Adam Wingard, director of Death Note, was trying to make a deal to do it last year, and they didn't reach a deal, so he had to move on. But he was talking on set of Death Note about being Michael Myers, and I was like, no. Like, no, just make a deal. What do you mean you can't make it? Why can't you make a deal? Yeah.
That being man, Michael Myers, come on, like, terrified me when I was a kid. So
what's better than like being able to kill hot chicks and get away with it?
Yeah, and evidently their idea for the next one, from what they've said, I know John Carpenter's really excited about it. I think he's even possibly scoring it, and whatever the idea that Danny McBride and David Gordon Green have. Blumhouse was very on board about it, so I'm very interested to see what they have planned.
Yeah, I wish we would have got the Freddy versus Jason versus Michael Myers movie. I really do.
You never know. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of time to make all kinds of movies.
Problem is, Robert Englund said he'd never play Freddy Krueger again.
They'd have to reboot it or find someone else or something.
And you know how those fans are, man. Fans don't. Fans are very, very, like, it's got to be this way. If it's not that way, then we're not happy.
Like if they made Hellboy and they didn't have Doug Jones as Abe Sapien or Ron Perlman, fans berserk.
Fans are, they go like baggy over it, I mean, even you were talking about Suicide Squad. People were really, really hypocritical of Suicide Squad. Because, Will Smith being Deadshot. People didn't like it. And then, people watched it, and that was one of their favorite things, is him being Deadshot and Harley Quinn, So, I mean, me, I don't read comic books, so it don't bother me.
I don't either, no. I've never, that's one thing I never got into. I never got into comic books.
And I'm not a big anime fan, so I don't really haven't watched any.
Death Note is the first anime I ever watched.
Never watched it.
Never watched it before.
So we'll tell people how they can get a hold of you once you get your shots and things like that for Death Note, to be able to get them from you and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll definitely announce my Instagram is the #1 place to get a hold of me or to see what I'm up to. That is Tallie, TALLIE 7487. And so that's, or you can just probably search on Instagram Jason Liles and you'll find me on there and see pictures of Ryuk. That's the best way to find out what's going on. I have a Twitter, but I never do anything with it. Or you can find me on Facebook. But right now, unless it gets insane, I have it open where you can search Jason Liles and find me. And I think it is the picture of me and Adam Wingard holding up Will's phone.
Okay, cool.
So those are the two best ways. My Instagram at Ollie7487 or just find me on Facebook. And I try to get back to everybody. send me a message. So it might take me a few days to see what's going on, but I've been pretty good so far about getting back to people. So
Okay.
and then I'll let people know there when some conventions are tomorrow. If you're in LA at New York Film Academy, they're going to have a screening of Death Note there, and I'll be doing Q&A afterward. And next Thursday, the 14th, I'll be in Provo, Utah at Film Quest Film Festival. And there's going to be people there. So there are a couple places. I get that updated on the Instagram. So you'll see.
Too bad you're not going to be in Kentucky for Scarefest in the month. That would have been cool.
When is that?
The end of the month.
End of the month. Okay. Well, yeah, reach out to them. Maybe who knows?
Yeah, it's at the
If
end
not
of
this
the month.
time, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We have several festivals now in Kentucky, so used to not get very many, but now we've got 2 or 3. So,
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Hey, you too, Mike.
I really believe that it's great to see guys like you be the future of the men behind the mask, as they say. And
I'm doing my best. Yeah.
Too bad you weren't Chewbacca. That would have been great.
I tried. I'm very happy for Junis, who has been handed. I sent him a message on Facebook telling him how excited I was for him. Huge opportunity. Handed that role from Peter Mayhew. So Chewbacca's in very good hands.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But hey, maybe they need another at some point.
Maybe
another future.
Maybe they'll call you at the last minute and tell you you need to be part of Red Solo Cup.
I'll be happy to do that.
Maybe you'll be a Wookiee or something in it. Who knows?
I'd fly right over.
But anyway, it's been a pleasure talking to you again. Jason Liles, he plays in the Netflix original Death Note, and he plays Ryuk. I can't pronounce that name for the life of me. Again, you can find him on Facebook. Really nice guy, and he will be back in April, and he will be talking about Rampage with me and all his fun he had with Dwayne Johnson and all that
stories there.
So anyway, it's been a pleasure. I'll be back with the band Savage Master in just a little bit.
Thanks.